In today's video, we're talking about transformation and about change and how people get it wrong and why people come up short, what's actually going on. It's the number one thing I get asked over the last 6 or 7 years coaching is, how do I stay the course? Like, what's going on, Damo? I go to these workshops, I read the books, I do the programs, all of that, and suddenly the house of cards comes falling down. Excuse me. And this is the secret, this is the answer, this is what you need to know. Your current life is made up of how you think, what you choose, how you feel, and what you believe. Okay, thoughts, choices, actions, and beliefs and emotional states make up you. Your life, so your circumstance that you're in right now, that is dictated by your thoughts, choices, actions, beliefs, and emotional states as well. Reason this with me: if you're a really hostile person and you're always bathing in resentment and you judge people all the time, then you'll turn on, first of all, you'll fire those thoughts. You'll be thinking those thoughts. That's what you'll speak. It's what will come out of your mouth. And you'll also be switching on those limited emotions, that chemistry that's congruent with judgment and blame and all that sort of stuff. And like attracts like. You'll then find that you'll go to the certain sorts of places where you'll get more of that, so you can reaffirm and validate who you think you are. So your social group will have similar tendencies, the places you go. So your thinking and what you're choosing, your actions, your beliefs about the world, your perception and perspective is all going to be geared around that. Now that's your known. That's where you're at right now, for example. To change, you've got to break that bond to that known life and choose something greater. And then you've got to stay the course. And it's the staying the course that's the big thing. We can all get inspired and feel that inspiration, get the energy up. I'm going to do it. I'm going to this and that. And you're online, you're signing up for the 12-week course, and you're booking in to see this thing. You're flying interstate. You've read the book. You're telling your girlfriends about it at lunch. In a very, very short period of time, it collapses. And why? What's going on there? Well, you go back to the predictable life. You go back to the old you. While you still continue to choose the same things and you socialize with the same people and go to the same places, you think the same thoughts and you feel the same emotions. And the association with those things, those people, those places in your external environment has an emotion connected to it. There's a feeling and a perception and a belief connected to it. And those emotions are to do with the old you, the past. In every moment, I've been saying this since I came out of my coma, in every moment, every breath, you're either choosing your future and stepping into the unknown, or else you're rehearsing and you recite the memory of the past. And the thing with the past is it feels comfortable, it feels familiar, and you can predict what's going to happen, and it's predictable. But that's the problem, because in every single one of these people, places, and things that is your known life, and you can predict the emotion, how you're going to feel sitting there at the social club on Saturday night, or catching up with those girlfriends for lunch on Sunday, the same social group that maybe you've had for 10 years now, is that there's a law in quantum physics. I'm just going to bounce you all the way out here. We've got to get an understanding of energy and matter. So in quantum physics, we have what's known as the observer effect, or collapsing the wave function in a technical sense. And what it says, what the quantum physics experiments prove and say, and the mystic has known this for a very long time, and the person who sits in meditation can prove this for themselves, is consciousness creates reality. The energy, okay? Energy is giving life to matter. Consciousness actually collapses the wave function from thought into energy into matter, and that's known as the observer effect. Now, when we're switching on limited chemistry, okay, that blame, that judgment, that guilt that we feel constantly, we're turning on the news and we're getting all up in arms, you're switching on certain hormonal centers. And when we move into that fight or flight nervous system, we pull energy. We pull energy from the field, and that's because it takes energy to create chemistry. Now, for example, when you've got the fight or flight reaction, the hypothalamus, the pituitary and adrenal axis that gets set up. The hypothalamus is scanning the environment for potential threats. The pituitary obviously is the master gland and it's signaling all the other systems of the body. And then the adrenals kick in and it's like, do I need to fight or do I need to run? So every time we move into that state, it takes energy to switch on that chemistry. Every time we go into our survival behaviors, survival patterns, and we just start judging and we get all up in arms about it, and we tell our friends about it over and we recite the story and we keep going to get more of that feeling in the body. We're pulling energy from the field to switch on those chemicals, okay? And then we produce a feeling that's congruent with the thought. And then we maintain status quo. We justify our worldview and who we believe we are. So that's the cycle of what we do. And the thing is, as I've been saying for years now, you don't fix anything by blaming others. You don't fix anything by judging other people, but you get a fix. You get a chemical fix. And the chemistry, okay, the survival emotions are highly addictive. And we get addicted to feeling that lack or that suffering or that blame or that guilt. So believe it or not, I mean, to the extreme, we actually start constructing these events in our day so that we can complain, so that we can switch on that familiar feeling. And then that is congruent with the thought and we've maintained status quo all over again. So what we know now is that everything, every place, every person that you have a connection to, you have an energetic bond to them. You have beliefs, perceptions, and a feeling that you could conjure up right now when you just say the name of that work colleague or that familiar place that you go to and you've been going to that restaurant since you're a kid. To create something new and to create the new you, you need to break all those bonds, the energetic bonds, the chemical connection that we have to all these things and places and people outside of us. You've got to break them, because if all your energy is spread that thin, it's distributed all around here and there, then you don't have enough energy. So inspiration is the movement of energy, and you've got to be inspired to create something. All your energy is wrapped up in all these other people and all these other things and these situations and these, and so there's nothing left. You're spread too thin and you can't actually focus. So what I did is I broke that connection, all the associative memories. I just stopped going to those places. I stopped doing those things. I stopped seeing certain people. And immediately I stopped driving those familiar thoughts that stopped driving the emotion in the body. And over time, I freed up all this energy and I felt inspired and I just kept wanting to go and to stay the course. And I started becoming the yes man. Okay, I'd say yes to everything that the old version of me would say no to. Because anything that used to threaten that guy, that version, this is 2.0, the new me, I'm going to learn something in the unknown. You're always going to learn in the unknown, and you rehearse and you recite in the known. It's as simple as that. And as I said, your energy is bound there because you can predict it and it feels familiar, and there's a chemical bond to the people, places and things that make up your known life. So you've got the inspiration. You decide to go out and you're doing A, B, C, and D and reading these new books and all this sort of stuff. But then it all falls apart again and people just say to me over and over again, what's going on, Damo? I've done everything that I can. I've read all the books. I've tried a million times and failed. So they go, I'm not good enough. No, just stop there. It's not that people aren't good enough or that they're not capable of change. Every single one of us is capable of creating a better life. This is what's going on. They're trying to change from the known. They're trying to change from the life, from the personality, from the people, places, and things that are connected with the old version of them. So you cannot create something new from the known. That's the biggest thing. But the worst part about this is people go, well, I've done it all. I've tried everything. There's something wrong with me. And then they go further down into the survival pattern or into the pain body. And it's heartbreaking to see when you've got a loved one, or if you're coaching or you're working with people and you want to see them in their highest light and you know what they're capable of. But that's the sticking point. You can read all the books, you can go to all the workshops, you can do it all, but if you go and try and fix a problem from the level of thinking that created the problem, or from the chemical addiction, the emotion, okay, that familiar emotion that brought you to the place you are now, you can't do it. They're too addictive. The survival emotions are too addictive. The brain's constantly signaling the body, always signaling the body, and then the body, when it doesn't get what it wants, it signals the brain and says, come on, think some more negative thoughts, yell at the dog, or whatever it may be, so that I can get my chemical fix again. So to recap, your current life is made up of the people, places, and the things, the perceptions, the thoughts, choices, actions, and beliefs, and emotional states that make up you. And people would say, that's your personality, that's who you are. Now, if you're trying to change, if you're still watching this video, then I assume that you're trying to change your life. Then while all your energy is wrapped up in the known and spread thin, okay, because you can predict how you're going to feel over there and you've got this chemical bond to this person over there, you don't have enough left in the tank to do it. So you've got to be selfish. Charity starts at home. You've got to be selfish for just a little period of time so that you can be selfless and give back on the other side. But there has to be a cutoff. I personally, as I said, I had to pull away from the people, places, and things that were that validated or justified the old version of me, or who I thought I was, if you know what I mean. So you are pulling energy back. You're pulling energy back to yourself so that you can start thinking new thoughts, making new choices, okay? Thoughts, choices, actions, taking new actions out into the world. Over time, you're going to have a different perception about the world and about what you're capable of, which forms new beliefs and obviously different emotions, different emotional states that are now more loving and connected to something of a higher value. And now you've got a brand new you. But you can't do it from the thinking that created the problem. You can't do it from the judgment and the blame and the toxicity that created the problem, the old life. Okay, you've got to change from the unknown.